feel like I'm in a straight suit here, man. Hello, hello, hello. Here are the kids. It's bedtime. So, I've had a visit from Bedfordshire Police. In fact, where do I start? With an early Christmas present. Can you see this? Let me just make sure, hold on. What I'm going to do, stay there 1 second. Let me just scribble out the part that actually has... Wait there a sec. So this is what the authorities call an Osman warning. The reason it's called an Osman warning, it's a warning when the police have intelligence that someone is planning to seriously hurt you. So this is Osman versus the United Kingdom, Bedfordshire Police. Name, Stephen Christopher Lennon. That's me. I am PC from Bedfordshire Police. I must inform you that you are not under arrest or under caution. That's a start. I'm in to inform you that we have received information that your well-being may be in danger. This relates to left-wing activists having sourced your home address and are threatening to attend and cause criminal acts of violence. I believe you are personally aware of that, and the situation may have risen as a result of your business activities and lifestyles. No, it's arisen as a result of my political beliefs. This is political targeting of opponents with threats of violence. I must advise you to take appropriate measures to ensure your safety, but warn you that this does not entitle you to break the law. Anyone sitting in America, what that basically means is we're not allowed a weapon to defend ourselves. We have to sit like sitting ducks with our family, waiting for people to come and commit acts of violence against us. If you feel you need police assistance, I'm able to put you in touch with experienced officers who can advise you. Well, Bedfordshire Police, I have given you countless and numerous amounts of evidence to show you who is threatening me, who is promoting acts of violence against me, and you've not once, ever arrested one single person. So your experienced officers are fucking useless. We may be in a position to offer you proportionate protection. Just for the record, so that everyone can see, I have asked the police countless times for a panic button to be put in my family's home. So that, say for example, when I'm not home, or even if I am home, if people come to this address, then my family have a button that they can press, which, guess what? Many Muslims have been given across this country when they've been threatened with any acts of violence, which many MPs are given in this country, but Bedfordshire Police refuse to give me any panic button, any means of protection. So for the record, I want that on the record. Because the next thing is that anyone, this is your Osman warning, this is the 7th, possibly 8th warning I've had like this against threats to my life. It's a week until Christmas. And as I told the police, which I'll tell everyone, if anyone comes near my family's home, I will take that as a direct threat to the well-being and the safety of my wife and my children. And I will act as any father or husband would act to protect. That is what the police want. Because, as I said, again, if you feel... Do you know the only problem? I've just spent a week. I've just been out to visit Geert Wilders from Holland, who is a lead politician there. They are the second largest party His campaign slogan is Stop Islam. He has to have 16 bodyguards, armed bodyguards. When we turned up to meet him, when we were getting near the hotel, I saw men with earpieces on in all the surrounding roads watching out. I then spoke to him about his security detail that he has to have. Why does he have to have this? Because he talks about Islam in Europe. He has 16 men. I asked him questions like, how'd you go to the shop? How'd you go get a pint of milk? I can't. I can. My security have to arrange it. They have to check the streets. They have to plan routes, exit routes, escape routes. He said that if he goes on holiday with his wife and he's swimming in the sea, he has to have the bodyguards have to be swimming in the sea as well, within meters of distance of him. Now, I wouldn't like to live like that. But the reality is, people want to kill me. And people have already been imprisoned for planning to. And I don't feel I have any protection from the British state or the British authorities. And that's the other thing where I sit and think the only way that I would have that is if I was an elected MP. If I was a politician, they would be forced to protect me. Currently, I've met other friends. I have other friends in Europe. Lars Hedegaard in Denmark, who when I went to meet him, he has 24-hour round-the-clock armed protection because of the threats against him from Muslims in Europe. I'd say I'm up there as big a target as any of them. Now, what this does, which just pisses me off, is this relates to left-wing activists. Some of you may have seen what happened last week. Mum, that's my mum ringing me because she's obviously just seen this. So, Mum, I'll ring you when I finish in 10 minutes. What this does, these left-wing activists, who are supported by the Labour Party, by Momentum, who are part of an organisation that's linked with Tell Mama, government-funded organisations, all of these groups are interlinked, and their job is to silence and stop anyone speaking out like ourselves. And this never has the effect that I think they wish for it to have, which is to scare you or silence you. It just has the fucking opposite effect for me. So, in fact, I have every single detail of every one of these left-wing activists. There's one that lives just 10 miles from here, a very prominent one who keeps spouting his mouth off. Essentially, you can say what you want about me. And when I went to this left-wing activist's home, and I spoke with his father, who I was very kind to, very considerate to. I haven't released his address. I haven't released any of the information about him. I have a full video when I went to his house, a full video inside his family's house, because I went inside his family's house, and there was a lot of hoo-ha and a lot of politicians and a lot of media representatives, and like, what's that clown who used to be on BBC Asian Network, Nahal? Some prick. Well, he was on the BBC Asian Network, and he put up saying how disgusting the intimidation tactics by Tommy Robinson, because I happened to turn up at this gentleman's house, yes, at 2 a.m, because when I saw he put my picture of my family's home online, I decided to travel to his house because there was an immediate threat of danger to my wife and children because of some little scrote sitting in his bedroom up in the north of England. And it took me 6 hours to get there. But when I got there and explained the situation to his dad was completely on side. So was his mum. They were disgusted. And I actually, on the phone conversation, which I've recorded everything of, I told that little scrote, do you realise what you've just put your mum and dad through, you little arsehole? Whilst registered living at their house, you think you're playing computer games with family safety. Now, if you want to, as I said, I have no problems with anyone criticising me. Say what you want about me, but endanger my wife, my children, yeah, there's nothing that's going to stop me coming to A, find you, or B, end it, stop it. So, at time, and this is trying to piss me off. So, Bedfordshire Police, just so it's on the record, have refused, even though they're telling me there's an imminent danger to my life, even though they want to tell me that. Do you know that they knocked at my family's home when I was in custody, so what, 3 months ago? They knocked at my wife's home and they gave her one of these that specifically told her that someone was planning to throw acid in her face. They knocked at my mum's house at the same time and they gave her one of these that specifically told her people were planning to throw acid in her face. But no panic button. Seems strange, doesn't it? Everyone else gets them. In fact, people have got them for nothing, really. Domestic violence. People with domestic issues get panic buttons to the police. Grasses and informants get panic buttons to the police. In fact, I bet Anjem Chowdhury's got a panic button to the police. So, to all those scumbags who were sharing information last week about me, big bad Tommy Robinson, going up to some gentleman's house. The reason I went up to his house was because he endangered my family. If you speak to his mum and his dad, I was very kind and very nice and explained the situation that my family faced at that present time. And in fact, they face now. And they face every fucking day because of little twerps like this. But yeah. So, even in that sense, I only see not the only way, but the only way I'd guarantee long-term survival in this, what should we say, political arena? Is that what you call it in Britain? Where if you talk about Islam, they want to kill you? Then the only way to, I'd say, would be to involve in politics. In fact, the only solution really is involved in politics. So, Chowdhury does have security. Turn up at Chowdhury's house, police there will be there in 5 minutes. But again, to anyone even contemplating turn up at my house, I'm well ready to defend my family at any moment. So it's just on a brighter note, because that's depressing as hell, isn't it? But on a brighter note, the family Bailey, an update for Bailey McLaren. Bailey, this young boy who grabbed a Syrian refugee child who had been bullying other children at his school, according to witnesses, grabbed him by the throat. Bailey's family faced imminent attack. Their houses were attacked. Thousands of messages threatening to murder and rape them. No arrests, of course. Not one single arrest against any of the Muslims inciting murder or rape against his family. Well, the family were left, and when they went to the council tried to relocate them in a Muslim ghetto in a B&B owned by Muslims. Yep, of course. When they turned and needed help, they were not given it. They were isolated and they were attacked by the entire mainstream media. They would run headlines such as waterboarding, even though it was 2 school children arguing in the playground. Then we run a campaign which they tried to prevent 3 times. There was a donation campaign to try and help Bailey and his family. I'd like to just give the information that campaign raised £26,000. Bailey's family were immediately, the next day after I gave up my interview with them, they were relocated. We moved them to a place of safety. The children got settled. They have 2 young 11-year-old daughters. The house was furnished with Christmas tree, ready so that they could have some normality, even though they've had to move to a completely different town and city for safety, even though they had to go into hiding with zero protection from the police or the authorities. Even though they've had to do that just to let every single person know that donated to that, they're in a position where they can, I guess you could say, enjoy Christmas. They have been handed now £26,000. So far, I think £22,000 has been transferred to the family. So just to every single one of you that supported them, they were a family that did need help, unlike the little Syrian refugee who didn't need help and got £150,000 due to a bullshit lying story that was campaigned. On that subject, as everyone saw the video of the young girl who got water thrown over her, who got slapped up by a Muslim girl in a hijab. Everyone saw the video that's gone viral yesterday of a young white boy in Stoke getting slapped around and beaten by some Muslim whose brother's just been charged with raping a young child in a gang rape in Stoke. Nice little lads, but none of those stories would have been run by the mainstream media because they don't fit the narrative. None of them. And obviously it's okay. English kids, it's fine when this sort of shit happens to English kids. No one cares. Least of all politicians or media or journalists. So, yeah, that's it. Just a thank you to, on the good note of the campaign for Bailey. £26,000, safely relocated, will enjoy Christmas. Still need to help plan for the future, but thanks to every single one of you. On a brighter note as well, a lot of people are asking about Daisy. Young Daisy was a young girl that we raised money to get a wheelchair for her. That wheelchair will be delivered very soon, and an update video, and every one of you who supported that campaign, you'll see where every penny of the money's gone. It's gone to great causes, and you'll see a happy, gorgeous little girl enjoying that. Other than that, that's pretty much it. So, that's it, thanks. And anything else I was meant to go on with? Just that I spent today as well in the House of Lords and the House of Parliament. I got some funny looks. And to all the people who saw my suit when I went to Downing Street, which I got hammered for, I just thought I'd get a brighter one, just to show that I give zero fucks. That's it. And yeah, even whilst I was in the House of Lords today, and I caught a Baroness Udin, who seems to be given her Baroness position for, I don't know, I looked up for women's rights or something, because Islam's full of that. But I caught her taking a photograph of my wife and children, which you're not allowed to take photographs in the House of Lords. I caught her taking a photograph of my wife and children. Anyway, I'm going to end it there. I'll go to bed. But one thing I'd like on the record is that Beds Police have refused to give me a panic button for my wife and children, whilst handing me Osman letter after Osman letter after Osman letter to tell us that people want to kill us. Good night.